I graduated from university. Yep, I'm pretty much done now. I'm a engineer now, but over the maybe 3 years that it took for me, there are some things that I will not miss about it. And I will go through the things which I absolutely despise about my engineering degree. Number one, labs. The labs were crafted at my university to waste your time as much as possible and trap you in the worst buildings on campus. The oldest, most decrepit buildings you've ever seen. They put you in there. And they were perfectly designed to waste your time in the 3 hours that you are forced to do lab. Like, the professor would craft it so well with the lab reports, and you would go in with that lab report with no instruction. You go in, the equipment's old. It doesn't work. Okay. You try to go ask for help, the professor and the TA are not there, or the TA doesn't even know what he's doing. Like, I don't know how he got the job, but he clearly doesn't understand the lab and what he's doing. And then you might get instructions that are just confusing as hell. They don't make sense. Grab a PCB part 32. Doesn't exist in the lab. You go ask. Oh, we ran out. You have to replace it with this one. Why didn't you just change the lab report to replace it with that new part? Doesn't say. Time slows down in these labs, okay? You are reading terrible manuals. I saw a date on it. It said 2003. The lab is older than me. It is shocking how it works. And then you would have to do like 5 parts of the most confusing labs and just be stuck there. I'll throw up a picture of a lab I did. I think this was my first or second year in electronics, and it was just a counter. And that thing, because the microchip, people are frying it all the time by like amping up to 22 volts and putting 50 VDD through it and just killing it. And that's a completely separate story, but like it would not work. And you would ask for help, and then the professor would go up, touch a little cable, and it magically starts working. He didn't even unplug anything, and he just stares at you like you're just stupid. Like, bro, I swear it wasn't working for the 30 minutes I was trying to debug. And he comes over, he touches it somehow, and it starts working. And he just stares at you. I'm like, bro, am I just stupid? Like, you just look like a bot, okay? Like, you just look at him back. You can't do anything, You're just cooked. So you sit there, and then there's the other labs where it's collecting data, and then, oh my god, the machines just don't work. What do you mean my oscilloscope is reading some crazy value, or it's just not reading anything? So, like, you sit there trying to, mess around with it, and then after like 2 hours, you just go to your friend and be like, hey, we just wasted 2 hours. You want to just fake the data, and then they'll just go look at you back. It's like, yeah, man, let's go fake the data. So or you go to your friends like, hey, can I just copy your data and let's just use that, and eventually that's how you make friends in labs in your class. You get trapped in the lab, the hyperbolic time chamber. Time moves slower, and then you're just like aging so fast because like you go in and it's sunny outside, you come back out, it's night. Like I don't know how you do that. And then there are some programs we are forced to use. Worst things invented. Number one by AMD, Vivado. I have a personal beef with this software. You have to use it for FPGA. I'll put the picture above FPGA. But we need to flash on the firmware. And the only software that worked, or university allowed for the labs, was Vivado. This software is the biggest goddamn software ever, okay? I remember installing it. It was 60 gigabytes, okay? I don't know how it's 60 gigs, but okay, with 60 gigs. And then you run it, you create a project. Okay, fine, you create the project. And then it can't find the project after you create it, and I'm like, oh, where's the directory? It doesn't exist. Okay, fine. But then you have to write VHDL or Verilog, whichever version you guys have. And once you start linking the files together, sometimes it would just straight up not link, or it would spit out error saying it can't find the file, but clearly in the directory, even if you open it, it's in the subdirectory. And I don't know how AMD created this garbage program, but it just does not work. You have to hot reload it, close and reopen the program. Oh, simulations don't work. Oh, you have to stop your sim to run it to Flash, but you can't rerun the sim when it already is open to hot reload it. So it's just completely terrible. But you have to do it for Vivado. And like you have to flash the board. Your firmware's not it's just complete mess of a software in labs. Like it's the worst thing. And then there's embedded labs we did. Embedded programming is pretty fun. You do it in C, and you mess around with certain drivers, and sometimes on certain boards it would just not work because of the driver issues. I was doing the free RTOS as kind of the Texas Instrument software, and we had to do boards to like flash an LED, read and write to memory and on the board. It was kind of cool, but the software was terrible to run sometimes. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm trying to explain it to my partner, and you can kind of just look in their eyes. They're processing it, but like, it's not getting through. And like, sometimes you would work with them, and they would just somehow multiply your work. I don't know how, like, a thing took 30 minutes usually. Now it turned into 1 hour because you showed up. And like sometimes it's like complete RNG in class if you don't know who's smart and who's dumb. Because like there's truly some bots in college, okay? I don't know how they got in, but there's some NPCs or like AIs in our class, okay? That they show up and they don't know what to do. And I think the worst time this happened was we had a electronics lab, and the professor would pair us off based off of our midterm. Okay, this guy was like a different breed of like this devious, okay? So he'd go up to the front of the class, and during that day, he would sit down and be like, okay, I'm passing back the midterms, and I'll pair you guys up with the worst grade with the best grade. And you instantly can just infer who got the two grades, okay? So he'd go up, he's like, oh, good job on your test. And then the very next person, he would fold the paper back upside down to you, and you would just know that that person was cooked on the midterm. Like that person ain't passing, but he has to do with the lab because he had like the sliver of a chance of passing. And some people, the first couple that were paired up, what the 100% kid got paired up with a guy who got 7%. Okay, how do you get 7% on the test? Did you not write anything? Like, crazy, right? And sometimes our school would just do the craziest professor rotations during our year. Like, you would look on Rate My Professor, and they come back. This guy was a 1.2 stars, okay? And this guy's been teaching for so long. And then, oh, next semester, maybe it gets better for part 2 of the same class. You either get the same 1.2 professor back, or you get another guy who's, like, slightly better at 1.7. And you're just like, okay, which one do I take? And I had that for, I think, 3 semesters straight of my upper grad classes. Of just horrendous professors, okay? They were showed up like the Legion of Boom just to deny you from graduating. And I'm gonna be honest, I look at the stats from the class after for the graduation or the passing rate. They were 40% fail rate of those classes, okay? Like you go in, you look to your left, you look to your right, one of those kids are getting slimed out and not passing on to the next class. Like that's just how it is. And then like by the end of graduation, you grind through all your whatever capstone project. You have to do your internship, finding job. Job is a completely different thing I'll talk about later, but that's separate. But it's kind of over now. I'm done with cool school. I'm graduated, and like I'm kind of an engineer now. So we'll see what happens.